HITC Sport, and yes, my prediction skill is a big bag of rat sick, but while I have your attention, the latest Football Origins is out. This time me tackling the cycling GK. Honestly, once Ben Foster watches that video, he'll probably want to poke out my eyes with a fork. Anyway, go check out that video, but right now, let's take a look at every Premier League match, and yeah, watch me predict every single weekend result right. I'm not even gonna. Why do I keep doing this? Right, let's go. Arsenal versus Newcastle. There are fewer things more pointless in life than Newcastle fans making the trip to the Emirates Stadium. The Geordies are gonna wake up, what, 4 a.m? to spend the next 3 hours drinking stale beer on a train before trudging into this ground to watch their team lose without even mustering a shot on goal. First of all, poor old Newcastle fans, always so full of optimism when making this trip, but this is just like watching a bunch of farmyard pigs high-fiving each other as they walk headfirst into the slaughterhouse. Actually, that's a bit of a confusing analogy. No, I'm not saying that Ant and Dec are going to wind up in a cheap hamburger, but Arsenal have beaten Newcastle 17 out of the last 18 games they've played. And I'm sorry, most of that coincided with the Arsene Wenger decline, and yet Newcastle still just keel over like a lactose intolerant cat. It gets worse. Newcastle have played at the Emirates Stadium 16 times, 2 FA Cup ties and 14 Premier League matches. That is a potential 42 points on offer. Newcastle have taken a total of 4 sad and pathetic lonely little points since 2006. What is this? This is Newcastle United. For that record, that would embarrass the likes of Huddersfield Town. Newcastle have not scored at this stadium in 7 years. You know, in Hector Bellerin's second Premier League start for the club. That is so long ago. That's utterly shambolic. It's revolting. It's disgusting. The Geordies will be buoyed from last week's draw at Brentford and hope that they can nick a draw. I'm sorry, the last time you nicked a draw at this ground, your midfield was Scott Parker and Nicky Butt. The former is the Bournemouth coach, and the latter now looks like a walking skeleton. I'm sorry lads, I know it's the Eddie Howe revolution, but no. Mikel Arteta is chewing this Newcastle team for morning brunch. I'll go for Emile Smith-Rowe getting back on the score sheet in a 2-0 routine Arsenal win. It's just inevitable. Newcastle don't score at this ground. Buy the lads, trying to 600,000 subscribers as soon as possible. If you're new here and you're not yet subscribed, then slap that big red button in the teeth. What are you waiting for, you absolute legends? Anyway, back into the video. Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. Speaking of football heritage, Aston Villa have lost every match they played at Selhurst Park since 2014. But I'm sorry, the fans won't be bothered by this trip more than Steven Gerrard, who right now is probably hyperventilating into a McDonald's bag. Crystal Palace were the club who utterly ruined the end of his Liverpool career. There was that Istanbul 3-3 comeback draw in May 2014 to collapse the faint hopes of a title race. There was a 3-1 win at Selhurst Park in November 2014, where Gerrard suffered the indignity of losing a midfield battle to Joe Ledley. Honestly, trudging around the pitch, he just looked like a constipated horse. And then finally, Gerrard's farewell game at Anfield was another 3-1 loss at home to Palace. So honestly, Gerrard probably relishes this trip the same way he'd relish a trip to the gynecologist. But listen, go back 15 years and just imagine predicting that Patrick Vieira and Steven Gerrard would be going head to head in a managerial dugout. You'd assume it would be an Arsenal versus Liverpool title race. No, it's a mid-table battle. Make no mistake about it, this is a world-class duel on the football pitch. But now, they're trying to outdo each other by using footballers who, in comparison to them, are just a big tub of walking butter. You know what? I reckon the new manager bounce at Villa Park will last for another week here. So Villa will snatch a 2-1 win at Selhurst Park with Danny Ings banging in a late winner. Just you wait. Liverpool versus Southampton. Southampton were arguably the team who gave Jurgen Klopp his rock bottom moment at Liverpool, where the fans could have honestly questioned whether he was actually just some overrated German meatball who couldn't organise a defence to save his life. You know, when Shane Long smashed home the winner at Anfield in January 2017 to send Southampton into the final of the League Cup. Honestly, I guarantee you on that freezing night, I'm guessing at least 5,000 people inside that ground were ready to dump this German dentist in favour of Carlo Ancelotti. Hindsight, but Southampton are getting utterly eaten alive on Saturday. Christ above, Ralph Hasenhüttl's boys just lost the match at Norwich. Yes, Norwich! I thought that was actually physically impossible. It's like having your jaw broken in 6 places after getting punched in the face by someone's pet bunny rabbit. I mean, come on, Norwich? But last week, I correctly predicted that Liverpool would slap Arsenal by 4-0. So yeah, here, Mo Salah will grab a brace in an easy, cottage pie level, comfy, routine 3-0 win. Norwich versus Wolves. I'm sorry, but if Norwich City win this weekend, they will have won 3 back-to-back Premier League matches for the first time since December 2012, when they beat Sunderland, Swansea and Wigan all in a row. Clearly 3 footballing powerhouses. I mean, that's not going to happen here though. It just isn't. I'm sorry, I know Dean Smith brought the likes of Todd Cantwell and Billy Gilmore back in from the cold, but I'm sorry, he only lost to Wolves 2 weeks ago. And as nobody noticed, this is Wolverhampton Wanderers' best start to a Premier League season ever. I thought this whole Wolves thing was done, that it was just a stale business project just crumbling around the feet of Jorge Mendes. But well, key players have left, the managers are gone, and it was only a few months ago they were losing 4-0 at home to Burnley, with their star striker nursing a headache on the couch. But look at them now. Bruno Lage. As a former Swansea and Sheffield Wednesday #2, someone who used to fetch the teas and Milky Ways for Carlos Carvajal, I assumed that he would have the tactics of a dustbin, but lads, they are 6th in the Premier League. They're sitting 2 places above Cristiano Ronaldo. It is just mental. But this club don't score many goals. Look, if Pedro Neto was fit, then I would fancy them for a counter-attacking smash and grab last minute 1-0 win. But now I'll go for a pretty stale 0-0 with many fans inside Carrow Road this close to sticking a yogurt spoon in their eye. Brighton versus Leeds. Brighton versus Leeds. The battle between 2 men who football hipsters probably fantasize about in the bath. Here we've got controlled possession versus a fluid interchanging position kamikaze football. But I think we saw last season, Bielsa's football doesn't usually work against Brighton. 2 games, 0 points, and they couldn't even score a goal. Leeds also haven't won at this stadium since their League One days in November 2009. This is not a fun trip for Leeds fans. But Brighton haven't won a match in 7 Premier League games. That is over 2 goddamn months without a single victory. I don't care. They're in a relegation scrap. They just haven't realised it yet. While Leeds actually played with confidence in the first half of Tottenham last week, with Daniel James finally looking like something other than a lost boy band reject who's just fallen out of Simon Cowell's lap. Leeds' performances have picked up in the last month or so you know what? I'm going to go for a late 1-0 Leeds win via a Rodrigo Wonder goal. Why not? Brentford versus Everton. Alright, somebody, anybody out there, please tell me your favorite memories of the Brentford versus Everton clash in history. Any iconic moments spring to mind? Any brilliant goals? No. Try not to think too hard. Try not to scrape the back of your memory with a dirty spoon, because you won't be able to tell me any moments. These two haven't played against each other in a league match since February 1954, when Brentford were slapped 6-1. Everton are a massive club in English football, and yet any Brentford fan under the age of 70 will only have experienced playing against them once, when as a League One club they knocked Everton out of the League Cup on penalties in September 2010. It was so long ago that Mikel Arteta was sitting beside Shukran Mustafi on the Everton bench, and nobody even noticed. Who knew that over a decade later, Arteta would be throwing away his bench buddy like a tin of rotten dog food? But yeah, that's Brentford's Dear Diary moment. So, the Bees versus Tough. The Brentford fans will be excited for this match. I mean, let's not forget, Everton are in a hopeless run of form, to the point where Rafa Benitez is probably scrambling to keep his job. 2 points from the last available 18, chalking a chunk of game time where they conceded 4 goals in 12 minutes to Watford. Come on, a Liverpool legend like Benitez does not want to wind up sacked before Christmas at Everton. How embarrassing would that be for his dignity and legacy in the city? But still, sorry Rafa. I think Ivan Toney is going to dominate your back line, shoving as many petrified centre backs into his pocket as he can muster. This is going to be a pretty famous 2-1 scrappy Brentford win, with angry Evertonians screaming for the Rafa sack until they're blue in the face. Burnley versus Tottenham. Antonio Conte must be regretting his choice of move. Come on, you just made the exact same mistake that Jose Mourinho made 2 years ago, when he foolishly thought that managerial excellence would be enough to make a success out of Tottenham. Nope! No, not when half the squad is the backbone of a ham and cheese sandwich. Honestly, Conte is just wasting his time at the club. Here he is, as one of the most coveted and best managers in world football, desperately trying to poke Matt Doherty's belly with a stick, whilst the Manchester United job is about to go to someone who Zlatan Ibrahimovic has famously declared he didn't even know who he was. Does Conte really want to pick Harry Winks for a trip to Turf Moor? Again, no, he'd probably rather swallow a school bag. But listen, Burnley are in quietly good form. They've only lost 1 over the last 7 league games, and that was to Man City. And in that time frame of 2 months, Tottenham have lost 6 times, including to a bunch of Slovenian fishermen. I'll go for a 1-1 draw. Harry Kane will spank Tottenham in front with a goal from 25 yards before Ben Mee scrapes a point with a last minute header, leaving Conte looking like he's about to drown his defenders in the sink. Leicester versus Watford. So here's a battle of 2 teams who both scored 4 against Man United this season. Doesn't that just show you how terrible Ollie was? Well listen, Brendan Rodgers needs to scrape a win against his former club. He really does. But But for this one, throw the form book out the window. This is just inevitable. Yeah, I know it's a nice story. Claudio Ranieri going back to the club where he won the league. And yes, he's probably going to get applauded onto the pitch. He'll grip Rodgers in a bear hug. It'll all be very, very nice. But I'm sorry, the last 3 times Watford have visited the stadium, they've lost the match 2-0. And if Marco Brighton had not ruined it by squeezing in a 93rd minute goal against Watford in May 2017, then lads, that will be 4 visits in a row, all ending in a 2-0 win for Leicester. That is just weird. The Hornets have not kept a clean sheet on this ground since August 2004. So I think we can promise goals. You know what? I'm going to go for another 2-0 Leicester win. I have to. I know their defense right now is a big lump of marshmallow, but Leicester beat Watford 2-0. That's just what they do. I'm sorry, this isn't even a prediction. It's a fact. Leicester are winning this match 2 goals to 0. Stamp this, alright? Monday morning, let this go viral on Twitter because I just know, it's 2-0. It just is. There's nothing more to say. Leicester 2, Watford 0. Next, Man City versus West Ham. If West Ham win this match, then lads, David Moyes will be level on points with Pep Guardiola in December. I'm sorry, I think that would probably cause the earth to shatter, especially considering in Pep Guardiola's debut season in English football, there was just a 54 points separating these managers. But listen, West Ham have been utterly incredible this season, but I am sorry. This City team just put the riches of PSG to the sword. Clearly, they're going to use the likes of Declan Rice to mop up spilt lasagna in the canteen corridors, but there's no shame in this. It's just what Man City do. Man City spanked Chelsea 6-0 1 year before they won the Champions League. There's no shame in getting embarrassed at the Etihad. Jorginho was in that midfield. 2 years later, he's UEFA's Player of the Year. Man City are just a frightening football monster. So, no, I'm not insulting the Hammers. I actually think you might grab a shock 1-0 lead through Mikel Antonio. But no, City are going to roar back and win this game 4-1. Chelsea versus Man United. Chelsea should be worried. We're Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still at the wheel. Then sure, you completely eat this team for breakfast with ketchup on top. Romelu Lukaku would chew through Victor Lindelof's skull as if it was made of ice cream. But Manchester United with an interim coach are actually a scary proposition. I don't care if Michael Carrick does have the stage presence of a hungover Elmo. I remember when Ole, whilst he was interim coach, despite having the tactics of a pigeon, he took Manchester United to Stamford Bridge in the FA Cup and played Chelsea off the park. I just have a feeling that Manchester United, having chucked a permanent tactical egg like Ole out the window, I mean, we've already seen the players magically step up their game against Villarreal, desperate to impress Ralph Rangnick, who would probably be stuffed in an executive box. I reckon they'll dig in and grind out a 0-0 draw. Lukaku will miss a handful of chances. Eric Bailly will play like a man possessed. Trust me, Manchester United are leaving the stadium with a point. It's going to be a perfect bounce back from the nightmare Watford. And Ole, watching this much improved performance from the comfort of his couch, oh, you're damn right he's going to be sitting in his underpants while crying into his afternoon bowl of Weetabix. Anyway, that's it. Let me know what do you think. Alright, what are your predictions? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe. As always, I'll talk to you in a while.